Right now on 12 News at 10. Hot enough for you today? Did you get outside? We're under a weather impact alert, seeing near record temperatures. How long this extreme heat is expected to last. Exclusive video tonight of the cleanup of some 6 million chickens at a Valley egg farm killed by avian flu. Why the farm says this could have been easily prevented. Plus, the manhunt for the suspect in the shooting of multiple lawmakers in Minnesota is now over. How it ended. Thank you for joining us for 12 News at 10. Today was the hottest day of the year so far, with much of the state under a weather impact and an extreme heat warning. Meteorologist Chris Dunn joining us now, and it was a hot one, Chris, and we're not done yet, are we?
Yeah, Troy. You know, a lot of people trying to explain this away, saying this is normal heat. This is summertime in Arizona. This is Phoenix. 114 today, the hottest day of the year so far, as Troy mentioned. But look at the average high, 104. No, this is 10 degrees above average from an already hot average high temperature. In tomorrow's forecast, we're in the red zone once again, a weather impact alert. And look at 10 a.m. We're almost 100 degrees, topping out above 110, eventually ending out to around 113, our forecast high for Phoenix. Levine, Sun Lakes, Maricopa at 113, 111 in Surprise, Buckeye 112, and 109 in Apache Junction and Fountain Hills. That extreme heat warning goes through 8 p.m. tomorrow. Dangerously hot conditions, highs 110 to 115. Some of that has been trimmed back here in Mojave County for the Kingman area, but all of southern Arizona, including the Valley, in this extreme heat warning, again, in effect through tomorrow. 112 Casa Grande, 113 in Phoenix, 114 Gila Bend. Havasu, 115, nearly 90 degrees in Flagstaff. That's about where you ended up today. And Payson at 96. So through tomorrow, weather impact alert for that extreme heat, 110 plus. You need to just take it easy, limit your exposure, and stay hydrated. Even at this late hour, 101. We'll have the rest of the forecast coming up. Troy?
Yeah, 100 degrees at 10 o'clock at night, Chris. That kind of tells the whole story. Thank you. Late breaking news tonight. The man suspected in the assassination and attempted assassination of 2 Minnesota lawmakers and their spouses is now captured. Details of the man, Vance Bolter's arrest, have not been made public yet. He's accused of killing Democratic State House member Melissa Hortman and her husband at their Brooklyn Park home on Saturday, and then wounding State Senator John Hoffman and his wife in what Minnesota's Governor Tim Walz called a, quote, politically motivated shooting. Authorities launched a massive manhunt for Bolter in the past 48 hours. Investigators say he dressed as a police officer to disguise himself in the attacks. Police found a manifesto and a list of 70 potential targets, including politicians, doctors, and community leaders in his vehicle. We'll continue to follow this story as it develops. Big weekend of demonstrations across the valley, with thousands taking to the streets for the so-called No King's Day protests. And while most protesters remained peaceful, there were a handful of arrests and even a shooting at one of the protest scenes. 12 News journalist Kyle Simchuk has more.
It is not America. Everyone has a right here.
From coast to coast and here in Arizona, crowds gathered for what organizers called No King's Day, protesting ongoing ICE raids and President Trump on his 79th birthday.
Immigration, women's rights, all of what he stands for.
In Phoenix, thousands marched around the state capitol Saturday. Then late last night, another protest popped up near 4th Street and Roosevelt. Demonstrators began blocking streets and eventually set up barricades, forcing traffic to turn around. The group cheered as fireworks were lit in the street. At one point, a Phoenix police car responding to an emergency had to hop a curb. Phoenix police tell us there were no arrests connected to these protests, and the crowd cleared out shortly after midnight. Over in Tempe, a different story. Nearly 1,000 people gathered at Tempe Beach Park Saturday, marking the second night of protests in the city. Most marched peacefully, but a small group blocked traffic and set off smoke devices. Tempe police say 3 people were arrested, accused of assaulting officers after being asked to move out of the road. Later Saturday night, a separate incident. Officers say a 15-year-old boy was shot near a parking lot just north of Tempe Town Lake. Police say the shooting was not related to the protest, but it did cause crowds to disperse. The teen was last listed in critical condition. In total, Tempe police made 5 arrests over the weekend. The department said it fully supports the community's right to lawfully protest and express diverse viewpoints, adding, at the same time, we remain committed to public safety and will respond appropriately when unlawful behavior occurs to ensure a safe environment for all. Despite a few arrests and isolated incidents, police and protesters agree most demonstrators were able to make their voices heard without violence. We're in Phoenix. Kyle Simchuk, 12 News.
An argument ends in a deadly shooting in downtown Phoenix. This happened last night to 15th Avenue and Van Buren. When police got there, they say they found a man who had been shot. He rushed to the hospital, but he did not make it. Before he was shot, he was approached apparently by two other men, and an argument started. And during the argument, that man was shot. Police didn't release the victim's name, said he was a man in his 30s. Anybody who has information should call Silent Witness at 480-WITNESS. A store in Surprise looted by dozens of people last night. It happened at this QT store. Police say up to 50 people were involved in the looting. Police said the group also interfered with access to a hospital in the area, and that affected people who had medical emergencies. Police are asking anybody who might have photos or video footage or other information that can help identify those responsible to contact Surprise PD at 623-222-TIPS. Tomorrow, Phoenix residents will get a chance to hear from 3 finalists being considered to become the next Phoenix Chief of Police. Malik Aziz spent most of his law enforcement career with Dallas PD before becoming Chief of Police of Prince George's County in Maryland. Matthew Giordano is the Executive Director of the Arizona Peace Officer Standards and Training Board. He was previously with Phoenix PD and the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office. And Martha Ramos was most recently the Police Chief of DeKalb County in Georgia. And before that, she spent several years with Miami-Dade Police. So that forum again will be tomorrow, 5 p.m. Residents can watch it on the city's YouTube page. A final decision will be made in July. If you hear a lot of strange activity in the valley, it might be a big military drill. The Peoria Police Department says the Department of Defense is conducting military training exercises in Phoenix in the metro area, and that's through next Saturday, June 21st. Valley residents should expect to hear low-flying helicopters, simulated gunfire, controlled explosions, and this will all happen during nighttime hours. The military training is not open to the public, and officials say this exercise is not in any way related to ICE or immigration enforcement. The Department of Defense is asking for the community's patience and support as they complete this important training. Earlier this year, eggs hit a record price of over $6 a dozen. Prices have fallen since, but they could soon go back up. And the reason is avian flu. It's not going away. Tens of millions of egg-laying hens have been lost to the flu nationwide this year. 6 million hens were lost at one Arizona egg producer just last month, decimating Hickman's Family Farms, the biggest egg farm in the Southwest. The man who runs Hickman says there's an easy solution to stopping the bird flu, but the federal government won't allow him or other egg producers to use it. This video was obtained exclusively by 12 News, and it's not easy to watch. Dead chickens, not just a few, or a wheelbarrow, or a front-end loader full, or even a full truckload. This is just a fraction of the 6 million birds dead at Hickman's Family Farms after avian flu infected the flock. As workers cleaned the barns wearing hazmat gear, most of the chickens were buried here under huge mounds of dirt on the property.
In 3 weeks, we've watched an 81-year-old business go from full blast to zero.
Glenn Hickman is the president of Hickman Family Farms. He walked us through the empty processing plant, empty barns, empty coolers. The losses in livestock, jobs, and revenue are huge, and Hickman's frustration is mounting.
If we got hit by lightning, we'd understand that that's just the luck of the draw that day. But getting hit by bird flu is totally preventable.
The prevention he's talking about is an avian flu vaccine. It's actually manufactured here in the U.S. and it's used in other countries. But because of current USDA regulations, it's not available for commercial bird flocks here in the U.S. Instead of vaccinating birds against the virus, the U.S. policy right now is to destroy the entire flock.
And I'm not a virologist, I'm not a veterinarian or anything in between. I'm just telling you that there is no logical reason that we shouldn't be using it here in the United States.
So this really is an endgame pandemic for birds.
Dr. David Inglethaler is the director of T-Gen North for ASU and has extensive experience with viruses.
I think vaccines should be part of a multi-pronged strategy. Right now, that's the prong that's not being used. I think it really does need to be explored. The vaccines that are used in birds right now have been used really around the world in multiple countries.
We can't vaccinate our chickens, yet we're buying eggs from Mexico to help solve the egg shortage, and they vaccinate their chickens.
The USDA has been less than clear on its vaccination policy, saying only it's studying its use. Part of the issue is the massive industry of chicken meat, called broilers, being exported. Some countries won't allow importation of vaccinated chicken meat. But Hickman argues his hens are only used for laying eggs and should be allowed to be vaccinated. Democratic Congressman Greg Stanton agrees. He wrote the head of the USDA, saying in part, "I write to strongly urge the U.S. Department of Agriculture to reinstate a comprehensive vaccination strategy that combats the avian flu that's devastating egg producers in Arizona and across the country." A USDA undersecretary then replied, "The decision to proceed with poultry vaccination is complex and considers logistical factors such as trade ramifications." But while federal leaders debate the use of vaccines, Hickman fears what's going to happen as he puts chickens back in his barns.
There's nothing to prevent it from happening again. We have 350,000 baby chicks coming in July, and I have no idea what I'm going to do differently to keep those 350,000 baby chicks healthy from getting the virus again.
So Hickman's is bringing in 350,000 chicks a month for the next 10 months to fully replenish their flock. The whole process will take about 2 years. That's if the bird flu doesn't hit them again. I put much more information on this story on our 12+ streaming app, some raw interviews, more of our exclusive video of the Hickman's farm. Go to the Troy Hayden Report section of that app.